Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about self-love. Now, I feel like self-love has become a very common topic, especially in modern media. TikTok loves to do affirmations about it. Most businesses like to find some product and say, try this, improve your life, love yourself a little more. And while I do agree that the physical appearance and keeping up with your physical well-being is important and a part of self-love, I don't feel like it's all of it. See, the thing about self-love is it requires you to be vulnerable. It requires you to face all of the things that you don't like about yourself. And it also requires you to sit in all of that. Self-love is not easy, and sometimes it's not really fun. But in this human experience, I do believe that it is vital. I don't believe that we can truly love another until we have learned and experienced how to love ourselves. Now, living in America, or in the world at that point, when someone says I love myself, or speaks of themselves in a high regard, oftentimes the world kind of looks at them like, you're being a little cocky. I need you to tone it down. Don't know why you think that. You think you're better than me, but don't rub it in. But the truth is, there shouldn't be anything wrong with saying I'm proud of myself. There's nothing wrong with saying I love who I am. There's never been anything wrong with that. However, when you surround yourself with people who don't actually like themselves, or you say I am proud of what I do or who I am, around people who don't necessarily agree with that statement within themselves, sometimes projections usually happen, and ridicule, self-doubt, shame gets inflicted onto you. Now, I know, I started my self-love journey about 5 years ago. But I was aware that I needed to love myself much sooner. I grew up here in Utah. I was a ward of the state since the age of 5. So I didn't really grow up with parents. I grew up with more therapists and caseworkers, judges, adults with a title that isn't mom or dad. My parents, their version of love and sharing love ended up being how I treated myself. That love comes with a cost. In my household, growing up, the only time we were told, I love you, was after we were either backhanded, touched, scolded, screamed at for not doing something right, told that we were nothing, to say the least. And that does a lot to a child, hearing that, growing up. And I didn't realize how my parents' inner voice and inner dialect, how their voices became mine. Every time that I wanted to be proud or stand on stage and say, I love myself, or I'm happy to be here, I was always followed up with the emotion of shame, guilt, like I should apologize for loving myself. And I found 5 years ago, actually throughout my life of observing humans, that we all kind of go through these moments in life where we're faced with a choice to either continue on this unproductive path of self-love, or you can get really real and change the narrative. Now, I, being the extremely bold and fearless, I don't know why I think I'm fearless, I'm really not, I get scared of everything, but I decided that I wanted to change the narrative. I didn't like that I had a hard time saying I love you without getting a lump in my throat to anyone, let alone saying it to myself. I was talking to my therapist about 5 years ago, and I told her that I have a really hard time accepting my own love, and I don't know why. And she asked me, well, what is your relationship with love? And that's again where I realized that I tie pain and love together. Now, love does not require pain, but love and pain do happen sometimes together, but they're not mutually exclusive. You don't have to hurt in order to experience love. But I didn't know that. A lot of my self-love journey was me coming to terms with the fact that I can make mistakes and still be human. That I can do irrational things out of pure emotion and still give myself forgiveness. That I could learn at my own pace, and I didn't have to compare my logic or my intelligence to anybody else in the room. See, the beautiful part about self-love is it's your love. Oftentimes we go through life and we keep giving our love freely, or ourselves and our energy and our time. And you grow tired if you don't take care of yourself. And by taking care of yourself, again, I'm not meaning just physically, emotionally. People are draining. It's really hard to be around us, as sad as that sounds. It's really hard to live with us, but you're stuck with you for the rest of your life. You have the choice, and you have the privilege to be able to love every part of you, even the parts that you don't like. Because the thing about not liking something or hating something is you have the ability to find one thing, just one way to find a way to insert love. Loving yourself will probably be one of the hardest things that you will ever do in this life. It really forces you to sit down and address self-hate. And nobody can pick you apart, tear you down better than you. You know every single thing about you that you like and dislike. You know exactly how to take the smallest inconvenience of your life and blow it into this huge, epic, oh no, the end of the world is happening, right? But you also have the ability to show yourself some patience for not knowing better, kindness, compassion. How about giving yourself a little bit of that understanding that you are so willingly and freely giving to other people who constantly hurt you over and over again? Hold yourself accountable for your own journey. Now, a lot of people don't know where to start. And I'll be honest, I am not an expert in self-love, and I can't tell you that if you start here, then this is all going to happen and end in rainbows and pigeons. I don't know why I said pigeons. I don't really like them, but it's fine. That's irrelevant. But the point is, you start when you are ready to change. You start when you actually start saying, how do I figure out how to love myself? Let me tell you, you'll work backwards. You really do. You figure out what it is that is preventing you from loving yourself unapologetically and openly with everyone. And let me tell you, it's a little scary, too, approaching that and finally being like, yeah, I'm a little weird, but here we are. And being proud in that, standing in your power when everyone else is going to try to take it away. You will go through a part in this journey, too, where you're going to be alone. This is called self-love. Not the world love me and then fix me. It's you. You are worthy of your own love. And if you're needing permission to say that to yourself and to accept it, I'm giving you permission. When you start loving yourself, your perspective of everybody else changes too. You start to realize that maybe someone who you had close to you is maybe someone you should rather distance yourself from. You realize cycles that you've outgrown, habits that you should let go of, different things that you should try. You make a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. It's a lot of trial and error. But keep going anyway. I leave you with this. No matter how hard life gets, no matter how lonely you get, you will always have you. For better or worse, you have you. It is your job to make sure that that relationship that you have with yourself is a healthy one, because that sets the tone for all of your other connections and relationships and the way that you are inserting yourself into other people's lives. You're never going to be perfect or master self-love, and that's okay. You don't have to. But just get started. Start by saying nice things about yourself. Every time you catch yourself saying something negative, why don't you say, instead of saying, I'm ugly, I'm beautiful. Even if you don't believe it. Because let me tell you something, you start telling yourself that over and over and over again, eventually you're going to believe it, and you're going to see the beauty that resides in you. You're going to see all of the good that everybody else keeps talking about. You are worthy of your own love. And I hope that if you haven't started your journey, that you do. Because yes, it is scary, but it is beautiful. And it ends in pigeons. Thank you.